Hi, I'm Stephen Austin. I'm running for Board of Education at large, Montgomery County. Elevator pitch. I'm running to bring back accountability, transparency, and true community engagement to the BOE. The current board has completely ignored these concepts and allowed a small but vocal activist group to dominate the conversation around closing the achievement gap, which has led the BOE to consider an initiative to move kids around the county as its main solution. The problem with that is the data shows it's unlikely to work, and it appears to be politically motivated. With limited resources, we have to do the most good with what we have. And I believe there are solutions that have a high probability of success, like leveraging technology to improve remote learning and to make courses available to all students. On the subject of resources, we're currently facing a budget crisis unlike any we've ever seen in Montgomery County. I have 20 years of professional finance experience to help lead the board through this process. I hope I'll have your support on June 2nd. Thank you. Okay, pass no credit. Looks like MCPS has gone to pass no credit for the fourth quarter, but they still don't know what they want to do for the semester, and that's where the debate seems to lie. It's a debate that a lot of schools are having right now, and I listened to Jack Smith. He talked a little bit about this and said that the universities are considering these circumstances and will make decisions accordingly. That being said, if you're a junior in high school right now and you have put in that work and you have grades through the third quarter and they're good and you know you're applying to colleges, I think you'd want the option to get that grade for the full semester because that makes a big difference. And I know that colleges say this right now, but when it comes down to those decisions and you're looking at a kid from a private school who has a full letter grade and a student from MCPS who just has passed no credit, those decisions can come down to that kind of situation. And I just wouldn't want our students to have to compete without the fairness of a grade. I understand why we want to look at it holistically for the entire school system, and sure, for elementary school and middle school, even perhaps, it should be okay to have pass no credit for a lot of these students. But I do think that the students who are at the point where they really need to be competitive and they've worked really hard, I think we need to give them the option. That may mean extending courses, maybe they have to do some more work in the summer to make sure that they've finished all the requirements. But I really think we should consider this. That's really where I sit on this debate. Thanks. So Kerwin, the blueprint for Maryland's future, is going to cost the state of Maryland $4 billion in increased tax expense phased in over 10 years. In addition, in the near term, we have this pandemic headwind for Montgomery County that is going to put a significant dent in our budget. We have no idea how to even quantify this right now, but I believe it's going to be worse than the great financial crisis. So how do we educate our kids when we have to watch our expenses that closely? There's a lot of ways to approach this, and the first step is really to start looking at the low-lying fruit, and we should be doing this right now. Okay, some of the contract expenses can be renegotiated. Early in my career, I did this for a living before I got into finance. I worked as a network engineer, and my job was to renegotiate the telecom contracts and replace a lot of the expensive phone lines with things that were cheaper but didn't impact the service. That's what we can do at MCPS too. We can cut expenses without impacting our ability to educate our kids, I hope. We start looking at these contracts. I've contacted an audit firm that does this kind of work and talked to them about what they could do. I sent the analysis over to Jack Smith. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I hope he's had a chance to look at it. I hope he's thinking about this because we have to hit the ground running. We have this, the budget will be finalized in the next month. I think it's going to be lower than people hope for, and I think the year after could be even worse. So it's paramount that we do this. Beyond that, we need to do an operational audit of the entire MCPS system. I think we could find a lot of efficiencies to gain there. And I think we should maybe even look at the real estate portfolio and maybe optimize that. I think if we can do all these things, I hope we don't have to make more difficult decisions, but when I'm on the board, I'm fully prepared to make whatever decisions need to be made, ask the hard questions, get us through to the other side without impacting our educational abilities, and make MCPS a better school system for everyone once we get through this. Thank you. So this is a really relatable question to me, really hits home. When I was ready to go to college, I couldn't afford it, and I went to junior college first and then worked my way up to the university, worked my way all the way through college, and I did take on some debt, and that debt took me a while to pay off. So even back in the 90s when debt burdens were not as significant, it was still difficult. Now my younger brother, by the way, my dad was a machinist, so the trades are in our family, but my younger brother decided that he wanted to become an electrician. And today he runs his own business, he's very successful. So I know that these kinds of careers can be very rewarding for kids. And I know we have programs at MCPS right now in Einstein and Seneca Valley. I think we should be constantly looking at how we can grow those programs, how we can add to them, and in particular how we can make sure that we're communicating to the students that these programs are available and that they actually are viable careers that can be very rewarding for these kids. And I just, because there's always going to be students who don't want to go to college isn't for them. Maybe they want to work their way through college and they want a skill that will allow them to do that easily. There's all sorts of options, and I just think when I'm on the board, I'm going to push really hard to expand these programs and make them top-notch. This country needs more trades, more skilled trades out there. We've got a huge shortage, and I think MCPS can supply a great talent pool. So that's where I stand. Thanks.